Well, if you've been watching our YouTubes, you're familiar with our Fruit Tree Guild. So we're going to do a little follow-up today on what we do this time of year with our beautiful results that we are getting with this.
Amazing. Beverly, this went through the freeze with no protection.
I am so proud of it.
Yes.
It looks so beautiful.
Look at how beautiful the yarrow is. Just getting
the lavender.
Thick matting. The lavender just, you know, it loves that weather.
It does.
Loves that weather. And the alliums, we have various kinds of alliums that are coming back up again, but I'm just loving the way this is starting to mat. We have a little color, a little early spring feed for the bees.
Yes, yes.
Yep. It's off to a great start.
It is. It is. I see those pruners are kind of burning.
They are.
Burning your hand.
I'm itching to get started here.
So when we planted this originally, and in the original video, we gave everybody heart failure.
Yes.
When we cut these down to 24 inches.
Right.
But we could have gone even shorter.
Could have gone farther. The recommended heights for that low, high-density training are 15 to 24 inches.
Right.
I like to kind of stay in that 18-inch range most of the time, but it also depends on how you're going to manage around it. And we knew we wanted the guild around it. So at 15 inches, we would have been kind of crawling on our bellies to maintain the guild. So at the 24 inches is a really good height.
Perfect, perfect. Well, now we're in late winter, early spring, and it's time to do our pruning.
Yes, it is.
And our approach to this is really almost to treat this as one tree.
That's
correct?
Exactly right. And the first couple of times you do this, it's hard to think of that way because you look at each tree, they're young and so they're not really full. So it's easy for me to look at this and say, well, this is a tree, I'm going to prune this tree.
Right.
But really the easiest thing to do is stand across your yard, put your hand up so that you're blinding the trunks.
Right.
And look at it really well from several different locations so that you can see, okay, if this was all on one trunk, how would I prune it?
Okay,
That's what we're going to do.
Perfect.
Okay, so it's back to principles where we know we want light into the center of this.
Correct.
And we really want this whole thing to look like a wine glass or a goblet. That's our goal. So light in the center, plenty of airflow around the entire part of the tree is what we're looking for. So we want to do things like, well, one, if you'll hand me the loppers.
Okay.
We're going to cut this back a bit because this is just wood that's looking for a chance to die back. And so we're going to remove it just above that node.
Okay.
So that we can get a good clean cut there. We won't have any rot or dieback from it. Then this branch is growing into the center.
Sure.
So that's going to interfere with our inside growth. So this is what we call a thinning cut, which means we're going to remove the branch all the way back to the trunk. And this has a very small branch collar, but you can see where that division is, and we'll just snip that off. And then this one as well, growing into the center.
And then on this one, same thing?
That one would be the same, and especially this one.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And if you can, we'll grab the one behind it when we move.
Alrighty.
So we have this branch, which is a nice healthy branch, and it has buds on it. And this is what gets hard for people, is to say, oh, that could be a peach this year.
Right?
But we have other growth here that we can choose from. And this branch is facing in a proper direction. And it's only about 10 inches long, which is good. The tree is young and we don't want it to bear a heavy crop anyway. It's too much for it.
Right.
So we really want to look at, once I prune this back, what am I going to get? And believe it or not, we actually need to cut back all the way back here.
Okay.
Now, that one cut opened up this middle to a great extent.
Absolutely.
And we have this branch growing back. This one is growing up into the center, but what we'll watch for during the summer pruning is that nothing that's growing here actually shades the interior too much.
Right, right.
A little bit is fine. That kind of keeps us from having any issues with sun scald.
Sure.
But for right now, that's good. So we also want to remove anything that's hanging down. Those don't do us much good either. And they're really not good for the tree. So you have a couple there that are hanging down.
This one?
Yep.
Oops. Oops. Didn't make a very clean cut there.
Here, you probably need, that lopper's probably too big a tool for that.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so
Have
then
to get
looking at the
organics.
rest of this branch right here, unfortunately, it's twisting on us and moving out because it was sun searching. And we know we want to cut this back a little bit. So if you can get your loppers in there, we really need to remove this entire thing. Yep. Boy, nothing like a good pair of loppers.
I love it.
So I think we're kind of through here without stepping on our beautiful poppies. I'm going to move over here, take a look. This is kind of weak growth, so I'm going to remove it. I don't know if I can remove this with these, but I'm going to try. Yeah. Again, nothing like working with good tools. Then this one, we have the growth that's growing down that we know we want to remove. This growth right here, this is a terrible angle. You really want between 45 and 60 degrees.
Right.
So we could choose to weight this, but in all honesty, these are going to grow vigorously this year, and there's going to be a shoot that takes off out here, so I'm just going to remove this. One thing for every pruner to remember, especially if you're new to this, don't worry about little mistakes.
No.
Don't let that keep you from pruning. These trees are vigorous. They're gonna, anything that you do this year that you step back and go, maybe I shouldn't have done that. The tree's gonna replace that and you have another chance next year.
It's like a bad haircut. It'll grow out.
Right, exactly. So low hanging, we wanna remove. This one is growing back, so we want to remove it. I'm going to take these two just because they're so interior. Then all I'm going to do with these is tip them back. And the reason I'm doing that is right now the growth hormone is flowing to the tips. And what we want to do is we want this to stiffen up a little bit and get some girth so that we have stronger growth. So we get over here. This one is really at like a 90-degree angle. These are growing inside. This one's growing inside. These just need to be tipped back. And we're still going to have production on this tree this year. Anything that has any dead or damaged can be winter damage, can be insect damage, crossing branches. That's a perfect example.
So do we want both off, or are we going to just take one?
We can take one. And my decision here is see how this one bends down.
Take that one off.
But let's look. We don't have to cut it all the way back.
Right.
We have that branch, and same thing with this one. We have that branch. Those two will stiffen up a little bit. We'll look for the stuff that's hanging too low here.
This one's going down.
Yep. Growing inside.
Inside here.
Yep.
Inside.
There you go.
This is fun.
It is fun. When you start doing it and you realize how clean and open they look, and to know that they're getting all the sunlight they need for good photosynthesis this year. Yep, we have this one hanging down.
So the 4 Ds apply to these two.
They certainly
dead,
do.
damaged, stinky, and disease,
yes,
right?
They certainly do.
And rubbing and crossing.
Yeah, and this one, okay, we're also going to do a heading cut on it because it does cross over this branch. And even though they're not touching, this one is going to shade this one.
They will, yeah.
So we'll cut it back past the point where the shading won't be an issue anymore. And we may take more of this off during summer pruning, but for right now, it's doing fine. And over here, don't want to step on our poppies. This one, growing inside at a bad angle. That one and that one. We'll just tip back a little bit here. Tip back a little bit here. And then here, we'll do the same. Let's tip back to there. Good. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done.
That looks great.
It does. It opened up everything a lot. Like I say, when you put your hand down here, you can kind of see it as one tree.
Right. Definitely.
In the future, there will be things on this side that need to be removed, but we're going to wait to see what flushes out and develops this year before we do that. And in all honesty, when you start high density training and you read about it, it sounds a little overwhelming.
Right.
But when you put it in practice, it doesn't take any longer than deadheading a rose bush.
It's true. Well, and you're watering one spot, you're feeding one spot.
Right.
It makes perfect sense, no matter how much space you have.
And if you have trees that require a pollinizer, they're right there.
Yeah,
the bee's going to visit them all at the same time.
Right. Perfect. Well, great. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's ready to go for the year.